Hi everyone and welcome back to a new video of Shadow Fight Arena, and in this one I am finally going to reach Arena 6. I'm currently at Arena 5 and this is just the reward of Shadow Fight Arena reaching 1 million downloads. Yeah, it was a while ago. Anyways, so let's get started. Just let me claim this 500 gems. They are gonna last me a really long time. So this is gonna be my team: Fireguard, Helga and Azuma. So without any further ado, let's just hop right into the fight. And our first opponent has Saj, Hongjo and Yuka. It's not gonna be that hard. So I chose Azuma the Feldsher, who I really find easy to fight against Yuka. I don't know why, but Azuma is pretty good. I just like his moves on an arena task course. It's pretty easy to fight against Yuka and I just destroy her like this. The only problem is her cat. That's a bit of problem, but if you dodge that, she's pretty easy to defeat with Azuma. So as you can see, I took a little bit of damage, but that wasn't a big deal. Now Sarge, though, he's a bit of a problem. He gets shields on all of his attacks. By shield, I mean the uninterrupted attacks and all of that. And in his shadow form, it's even a bigger problem. And if you fall down, it's hard to avoid this guy. So as you can see, this guy is just trying to destroy me. And well, he does destroy me in the end. Sarge is just a bit too hard for me to fight, at least with Azuma. He is. And in this fight, he is able to defeat me pretty easily. And I do lose my Azuma in the end of the fight. So as you can see, that was a really dumb move. For some reason, Shadow Knockout didn't work on him. I don't know why is that even a thing, but it didn't. Basically what Shadow Knockout on Azuma does is, as soon as the opponent goes into Shadow form, you just shoot a ranged weapon on them or just hit them in any way. If your opponent is in Shadow form, it's going to activate Shadow Knockout, which is going to do a lot of damage and throw them off of Shadow form, so they are not gonna get Shadow form anymore. And as you can see, it was kind of dumb to fight this guy with Fireguard as well, because I just got wrecked really badly. But even though Fireguard's damage from his blast did do a decent amount of damage, and I can just finish him off with the shadow attack of the weapon. So the only one on my opponent's team left was Hongjo, and I had Fireguard and Helga. So it was a pretty easy fight. I did take a little bit of damage, but in the end I was easily able to defeat him with the Fireguard. He is just really good, at least in the beginning, but later on as you fight against characters like Jack Bulwark and even Marcus, it's really hard to use this guy because he's just really easy countered by Marcus. His main damage is shadow attacks, of course, so it's kind of hard to fight against him. And as you can see, I just destroyed this guy with just a little bit of health remaining, but it doesn't matter. A win is a win and we can go to the next fight. And I got a bit of gold over here, and just let me open this chest. I got a couple of shards, one shard from Marcus and a couple of other things, and let's just hop on to the next fight. In In this fight, we have a team of Kibo, Hongjo and Ling, and Hongjo and Ling are level 6, and I decided to use my Azuma again against my opponent's Hongjo, which is not gonna be that hard, but I could just get wrecked. But in the end of this fight, I was able to defeat his Hongjo with my Azuma. Azuma has a pretty good range on his weapons, so it doesn't really matter. Plus neutralization does 2 damage. Even if he doesn't have shadow attacks, it does damage, which is great. I am fighting a bit carefully over here, but that's how I did play, because it's not Shadow Fight 3, you can't actually predict what your opponents are doing. Shadow Fight 3 is like you can predict what the AI would do, so it's guaranteed that they will do this specific thing. You know how the AI works if you've been playing for a long time. But Shadow Fight Arena isn't the same, and it's really hard to predict opponents' moves. And just like that, his Hongjo is defeated, so he is going to choose his Kibo next, who is also a pretty easy character to fight with Azuma because she's mainly a shadow character, so if you be careful enough you can still defeat her. But his Kibo was able to just destroy my Azuma in no time. So I just decided to use my Fireguard next because I didn't really want to use Helga because she's like my best character. I know how to use Helga, and I'm more confident with Helga than Fireguard, but Fireguard is still good, so I just decided to use do some damage and just take Kibo's health a little low, but I was able to easily defeat Kibo and Ling as well. So as you can see, Kibo is in her shadow form now and she is out of shadow form, and that's it. She wasn't able to do a shadow attack, and the next guy is Ling, of course, and I didn't really lose too much health on my fire guards, so it was pretty easy to defeat Ling as well, which I do, and I didn't really need to use my Helga. And over here I just took a hit from Link's shadow attack, but then my Fireguard just exploded and set him on fire, and that's some really decent damage. And now I just need to throw him on the other side and do a shadow attack, and he is done. So over here, after just claiming some coins, I also opened a chest which gave me a couple of more shards of different characters and a couple of gems and everything, and it's time to hop on to the next fight. And over here my opponent has Marcus, Kate and Link. Now Link and Kate aren't such a big deal, but Marcus is. This guy is just insane, and I was hoping my opponent would choose Marcus, but he didn't, so I just chose my Helga in hopes of defeating his Marcus, but he didn't really choose Marcus. But Kate is not a big problem to Helga. She's pretty easy, you just need to be careful not to get hit by her, of course, but even if you do, she won't be doing much because Helga doesn't have shadow attacks and it's pretty easy. And in the end, it came down to Helga's Shield of Light to take down this Kate. And over here my opponent was going to finish me off anyhow, but he can't because my Helga has Shield of Light, and I do take her down with this. Like, she's just OP. And again my Shield of Light ability activated on my Helga, which will help a little bit but not much. My opponent was really good at blocking and took my Helga down in no time. So for the third round I decided to use my Fireguard, which I thought it was a good idea, but it just seems like my opponent was too good at the game and just destroyed my Fireguard with just a couple of hits. So now the whole game was left to my Azuma, Ling and Marcus against Azuma. So as expected, Ling was easily defeated by Azuma. I got a couple of lucky hits on him, which really set the match for me. And also Azuma's neutralization and everything in the end was able to defeat Ling with it. And for the third fight, of course, Marcus. Now I can fight Marcus with Azuma, but not really. In this one, I wasn't able to do anything. He just destroyed me in like no time, and I lost this fight in the end. So all thanks to the input delay that's still in the game, I wasn't able to dodge that ranged weapon and I got defeated. Now let's just hop on to the next fight. Now it's time for the last fight of this video, and my opponent has Azuma, Helga and Jack Bulwark. Azuma and Helga are not gonna be a big deal, but Jack Bulwark is a really hard character for me, especially if you don't have really good characters or characters who can counter him, which I don't think there are many. It's really hard to fight against him, even though in the end it did come down to Helga's Shield of Light ability doing its work. I was able to defeat his Helga with mine. So thanks to Helga's Shield of Light ability, I was able to win this fight. So my opponent just decides to use his Jack Bulwark next, who is pretty hard for me to fight against with any of the characters I have at the moment. So he just destroyed my Helga. I was able to do a little bit of damage, but it wasn't enough. And there you can see he just did a couple of back attacks and my Helga's down. So now I decide to use my Azuma the Feldsher because he's the only character that I'm really comfortable with. Fight against characters like Jack Bulwark and Marcus. These two are really hard, but Azuma can take care of them if I fight carefully enough. Over here I just knocked him out of shadow mode, and that's what Azuma's shadow knockout does. It's a really deadly passive that Azuma has, which works on pretty much any character except Sarge, but any other character that uses shadow attacks is done. And I have no idea what my opponent is doing over here. This game doesn't have spurt. I don't know why he was rolling like that. And again I was able to land that low kick and knock him out of shadow mode. That was just a really deadly move. And over here my opponent only had a level 6 Azuma, which he used, and he used it well. He was able to take my Azuma down in pretty much no time, but then this weird thing happened. He just quit and I wasn't even able to use my Fireguard against him, but I got 25 points. And after this I just reached the Arena 6 level, which is gonna be for a different video. So that's all for this video. I'm going to do the Arena 6 fights in a different one. So that's all for this one. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe and turn on notifications as well, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.